Hello my scholars, welcome to the Myschool channel. My name is Angela, and in this video we're going to be tackling the English language JAMB past question for the year 2000. Please stay with us, don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Myschool channel. Like I said earlier, we're tackling the English language JAMB past question for the year 2000. Now we're going to move on to questions 31 to 60. Let's begin with question 31. Okay, select the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. When I visited James, I only gave him a congratulatory card on account of his promotion. Option A, the only person I visited was James and nobody else. Option B, it was only James that I gave a congratulatory card to. Option C, all I gave James when I visited him was a congratulatory card. And option D, all I did when I visited James was giving him a congratulatory card. Okay, so the answer to this question is option C. Let's look at the sentence. It says, when I visited James, I only gave him a congratulatory card on account of his promotion. The fact that the word only comes before gave, that means all I gave James, the only thing I gave James was a congratulatory card. So option C is the answer to this question. Question 32. Again, we have to select the option that best conveys the information in the sentence. The events of last Friday show that there is no love lost between the principal and the vice principal. A, they like each other. B, they work independently. C, they cannot part company. And D, they dislike each other. So the answer to this question is option D, they dislike each other. So when you say there is no love lost is an idiomatic expression. When you say there is no love lost between two people, it means that they dislike each other. Although it may seem like they like each other from the way the sentence is actually constructed, but don't be confused. Whenever you see there is no love lost between two people, it means that they do not like each other at all. So the answer to this question is option D, they dislike each other. Question 33. Again, we're looking for the sentence that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. So the sentence is, the politician's inflammatory remarks were heavily criticized. Option A, the politician's rude remarks were heavily criticized. Option B, the politician's provocative remarks were heavily criticized. Option C, the politician's bombastic remarks were heavily criticized. And option D, the politician's tribalistic remarks were heavily criticized. So the word inflammatory actually means something that incites anger, that leads to violence, between two people. So this politician's remark is the kind of remark that incites anger among people who listens to the remarks. So we are looking for something that best explains that. So in option A, they make use of rude. Rude actually means something that is impolite. It has nothing to do with inciting anger, okay? Then option B says provocative. Provocative is something that incites anger or any other strong remarks. Sometimes we say someone has a provocative dressing. So it may not necessarily be anger. It can be other emotions, but mostly anger. So in this case, this could be the answer to the question. Then the word bombastic actually means using a lot of big words without any meaning. So when you are making a remark that has a lot of big words, but you are not truly conveying any information, you are making use of bombastic expressions, bombastic remarks. Then tribalistic means a remark that portrays loyalty to one's tribe. It has a negative connotation, as we all know. So the answer to this question is option B, provocative, because both of them means that they incite anger, okay? So our answer to this question is option B. Question 34. Choose from the options nearest in meaning to the word underlined. The governor told the chief that it was only on a routine tour. Option A, normal and regular visits. B, unplanned encounter. C, surprise and impromptu check. D, working visits and homage. So the answer to this question is option A, normal and regular visits. When you're talking about something that is routine, it's something that is done on a daily basis, a normal procedure, okay? So it's something that has a procedure, it's done regularly, okay? So the answer to this question is option A, normal and regular visits. Question 35. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the word underlined. The boy was told that he would need several more pints of blood if he was to survive. Option A, many. Option B, much. Option C, some. And option D, plenty. Okay, the word several is a modifier, it's a determiner. It's telling you more about the noun. So we have countable and uncountable nouns, and depending on the type of noun, you will know which kind of determiner to attach in front of it. So a determiner like many is used for a countable noun, a noun that you can count. Then much, some, and plenty is usually used for uncountable noun. So the confusion here is that this is an uncountable noun, but this uncountable noun makes use of a unit of measurement. So now we can now count it. Okay, so we have more pints of blood. We are counting the pints of blood, right? It's a unit of measurement. So we need a countable noun to qualify this particular noun. So the answer to this question is option A. The boy was told that we would need many more pints of blood if he was to survive. Assuming it was just blood that was in the sentence, you have to use much. Okay, so you say the boy was told that he would need much more blood if he was to survive. Do you understand? The difference between the two of them is that for countable nouns, you need many. For uncountable nouns with units of measurement, you need many as well. But for uncountable noun, you need much, sometimes some, sometimes plenty. Okay, so the answer to this question is option A, many. Question 36. Again, we are looking for the nearest in meaning to the underlined word. The principal told the teacher to stop browbeating the children. A, pampering. B, bullying. C, deceiving. And D, caning. Okay, so the answer to this question is option B, bullying. Browbeating means to intimidate someone using harsh and aggressive words. Okay, so it can't be caning in this case because you're actually doing something to intimidate the person. But when you make use of your words, you are bullying the person. So the answer to this question is option B, bullying. Question 37. Again, we have to look for the option nearest in meaning to the underlined words. Some actions of the Nigerian youth have alienated them from those who were sympathetic to their cause. Option A, endeared and kindly. Option B, confronted and ill-disposed. Option C, separated and opposed. And option D, estranged and well-disposed. So we are going to look at each of the words and find out the meaning. For alienated, it means to be physically or emotionally or socially separated from other people, from society. That's what it means to be alienated. Then the word sympathetic means, in this particular context, it means to understand a particular cause and the fact that you're willing to follow that cause to the end. So you're sympathetic to the cause. We're going to look for the option that has words that are similar to those underlined words. So for option A, endeared and kindly. Endeared means to be attached to someone, okay, as a result of love and care you have for the person. So it's the opposite of the word alienated. So option A cannot be the answer to this question. Then we have option B, confronted and ill-disposed. To confront someone means to approach them on a particular issue. In this case, it has nothing to do with approaching someone. We are talking about being separated from the rest of society. So option B cannot be the answer to this question. Then we have option C, separated and opposed. Separated could be synonymous to alienated because you are separated from the rest of society. But the word opposed is the opposite of sympathetic. If you are sympathetic to a particular cause, you understand the cause. But if you are opposed to it, you do not understand it and you do not follow it. You do everything you can to make sure the cause doesn't come to fruition in the society. So option C is not the answer to this question. Then let's look at option D. The word estranged also means to be physically, socially, and emotionally separated from the rest of society. It is synonymous with alienated. Then the word well-disposed is synonymous with sympathetic in the sense that it means that you understand a particular cause and you are willing to do whatever it takes for that cause. So our answer to this question is option D. Question 38. Now we are also going to look for a word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. The essay topic is nebulous. A, vague. B, incorrect. C, distinct. And D, clear. So the word nebulous means indefinite, vague, unclear. So the answer to this question is option A, vague. Question 39. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word or phrase. So the man was able to persuade his willful and obstinate daughter to follow the career he chose for her. A, intelligent but arrogant. B, unyielding and obdurate. Option C, secure and odious. And option D, hardworking and intelligent. So the word willful actually means ensuring that your way must be the way that is actualized in a particular situation. That's what it means to be willful. Then obstinate means stubborn, someone who is unwilling to yield to other people's opinion. So we are looking for words that are nearest in meaning to that. Option A can be the answer because obviously the use of but shows that intelligent but arrogant shows that there are two opposing things in that phrase, but that is not the case. Then option B, unyielding and obdurate. Unyielding means not willing to yield to other people's plans, okay? And trying to ensure that your plan comes into fruition. So unyielding is synonymous to willful. Then obdurate also means stubborn, unwilling to listen to the opinions of others. Then option C, we have secure and odious. The word secure actually means someone who feels like he has a good place, he has a good standing with others. Okay, so it has nothing to do with being willful or even being obstinate. For the word odious, odious actually means unpleasant. Someone who is unpleasant may not necessarily be obstinate or stubborn. So option C is not the answer to this question. Then option D, hardworking and intelligent. These are good traits, good characteristics. It has nothing to do with being willful or obstinate. So the answer to this question is option B, unyielding and obdurate. Question 40. Again, we have to select the word that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word. Mr. Okon has been described as an eagle-eyed editor. Option A, a short-sighted. Option B, a clear-sighted. Option C, a long-sighted. And option D, a quick-sighted. Okay, so the answer to this question is option D, a quick-sighted. The word eagle-eyed means being keen and the ability to respond very quickly to inconsistencies in a particular thing. We understand what an eagle is. An eagle is very quick to recognize a prey, right? He has a very keen eye for details, right? To ensure that he can easily spot his prey from afar. So, quick-sighted is nearest in meaning to that. The words short-sighted and long-sighted are eye deficiencies, so it has nothing to do with this particular case. The word clear-sighted means having a clear understanding of a particular subject matter, right? And having a good judgment about that subject matter. But the word quick-sighted means being keen and responsive to details and the ability to spot inconsistencies in a particular work. So the answer to this question is option D, a quick-sighted. Question 41. Again, we have to look for the word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. In spite of her grim situation, the young widow smiled dutifully at the visitors' pleasantries. A, unkind comments. B, sad stories. C, condolence messages. And D, jocular remarks. Okay, so the word pleasantries means polite and agreeable conversation between two people. Okay, so we're looking for a word or a group of words that is nearest in meaning to that. So option A says unkind comments. That's obviously the opposite of that. Option B says sad stories. It has nothing to do with pleasantries. They are stories. They are not remarks that you make in polite conversation. Option C, condolence messages. This fits this well, especially with this context where a widow is grieving, okay? It's similar in meaning to pleasantries. When a widow is grieving, you actually give condolence messages, which is polite conversation that you offer during a situation like this. Then jocular remarks actually means remarks that are humorous in nature. This doesn't fit the context because you're talking about someone who is grieving, okay? So it can't be that. Jocular remarks can be pleasantries, but not all pleasantries are jocular in nature. They are not all humorous in nature. So the answer to this question is option C, condolence messages. Question 42. Again, we are looking for the word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. I have always believed that my mother is a very impassioned woman. A, emotion. B, impartial. C, impassive. And D, emotional. So impassioned, someone who is impassioned has a lot of passion and emotion in a particular situation. So the word that is nearest in meaning to that is emotional, okay? It can't be emotion because emotion is a noun and you need an adjective in that particular context. So the answer to this question is option D, emotional. Question 43. Again, we have to look for the word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. The party gathering was thrown into a state of euphoria after the election result was announced. A, pleasure. B, sadness. C, excitement. D, confusion. So the answer to this question is option C, excitement. Euphoria actually means intense excitement. You know, as a result of the news of the election results, you are filled with a state of joy, excitement. So it can't be pleasure because pleasure is a state of enjoyment, you know, as a result of enjoying a particular activity, right? Not as a result of the news that you hear. So the answer to this question is option C, excitement. Question 44. Again, we have to look for a word that is nearest in meaning to the underlined phrase. The family discussed the crime committed and resolved to nail the lie to the counter. Option A, expose it publicly. Option B, bury it in a coffin. Option C, defer action on it. And option D, seek more advice. So the answer to this question is option A, expose it publicly. Nail the lie to the counter is an idiomatic expression. It means to bring something out, right? To expose something to the public so that people can see it for what it is. So the answer to this question is option A, expose it publicly. Question 45. Again, we are looking for a word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. My father was at the apogee of his career when he was retired. A, terminal point. B, highest point. C, least productive stage. And D, redundant stage. So the answer to this question is option B, highest points. Apogee means the peak, the height of your career. So highest points best explains that. Terminal point means the end of your career. Least productive stage obviously is the opposite of that. Redundant stage, it's a stage that is repetitive, so it doesn't actually bring much value at that stage. So the answer to this question is option B, highest points. Question 46. Again, we are looking for the word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. Though David's condition is serious, his life is not in immediate danger. A, nasty. B, hypertensive. C, dangerous. And D, grave. So the answer to this question is option D, grave. Grave is synonymous to serious. Something that is serious is grave. Okay? Danger, it can't be dangerous because you can see that though his condition is serious, he's not in immediate danger. The fact that something is serious doesn't mean that it's dangerous. Okay? So hypertensive means high blood pressure. They said nothing about the nature of his condition. So option B can be the answer. Nasty means something disgusting, something unpleasant. It has nothing to do with something that is serious. So the answer to this question is option D, grave. Question 47. Again, we are looking for a word nearest in meaning to the underlined word. That punch by the young boxer proved to be fatal. A, effective. B, hard. C, deadly. And D, belated. So the answer to this question is option C, deadly. Fatal means something that is causing death. So deadly should be the nearest meaning to that. The word belated means something that is coming at a later time. As in when you are wishing someone a belated birthday. It's after the person has already celebrated his or her birthday. So the answer to this question is option C, deadly. Question 48. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined phrase. The presence of the security men in the area will provide a moment of respite for the residents. A, soothing relaxation. B, enduring reprieve. C, lasting security. And D, temporary relief. So the word respite actually means a break or a pause from something that is very difficult or unpleasant. Okay? So the break is temporary, right? So the nearest meaning to a moment of respite should be temporary relief. Okay? So the presence of the security men in the area is providing a temporary relief for the residents. It's not a permanent one. So our answer to this question is option D, temporary relief. Do you know you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past question? All you need to do is to go down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can download the Myschool mobile app for your Android devices and the Myschool software for your laptops and computers. Please go ahead and start practicing. Now on to question 49. Alright, we have to choose from the options nearest in meaning to the word underlined. So it is time for all concerned to first pick to pieces the strike action before preferring solutions. So the phrase pick to pieces is an idiomatic expression. It means to bring something apart in order to find faults in that particular thing. Okay? So we're looking for something nearest in meaning to that. Option A says embrace joyfully. Option B says critically analyze. Option C says stop abruptly. And option D says commend highly. So the answer to this question is to critically analyze. When you bring something apart to find faults in that thing, you are critically analyzing that thing. That's what criticism is all about. When you're critically analyzing something, you're finding faults in that thing. So our answer to this question is option B, critically analyze. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 50. Again, we have to choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word. The new ruler is big-hearted in his dealing with people. A, generous. B, cruel. C, soft. And D, proud. The answer to this question is option A, generous. To be big-hearted means to have a large heart, to be generous. Okay? It is not soft. Being soft-hearted means you are kind, okay? Kindness is different from generous. Generous means you have the ability to give things to people, but kindness means being compassionate, right? Understanding the situation other people are in. So the answer to this question is option A, generous. Question 51. Choose from the options opposite in meaning to the word underlined. The teacher announced that the class will be making a fleeting visit to the zoo. A, routine, B, brief, C, long, and D, guided. So the answer to this question is option C, long. The word fleeting actually means temporary, something that doesn't last for a very long time. So the journey to the zoo is fleeting, it's temporary, it's very short. So the opposite of that is option C, long. Question 52. Again, we have to look for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The project is designed to alleviate poverty in the country. A, tackle, B, exacerbate, C, eradicate, and D, assuage. So the word alleviate actually means to remove, to get rid of something, okay? To make something less severe than it is. So we're looking for something opposite in meaning to that. The words tackle, eradicate, and assuage are similar in meaning to the word alleviate. So tackle means to handle something, to confront something, so as to get rid of it. The word eradicate means to remove something completely. The word assuage means to remove something, especially when you're talking about guilt, to assuage your guilt. Then the word exacerbate actually means to increase something. Okay, so it is opposite in meaning to the word alleviate. So the answer to this question is option B, exacerbate. Question 53. Again, we are looking for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Civil engineering is predominantly a male profession. A, absolutely, B, essentially, C, generally, and D, seldom. So the word predominantly means mainly. It is mainly a male profession. It is synonymous with essentially. Absolutely and generally has nothing to do with the word predominantly. So the opposite in meaning to that is seldom, which means less frequent. So civil engineering is less frequently a male profession. That would be the opposite. So the answer to this question is option D, seldom. Question 54. Again, we are looking for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The officer said that he knew nothing to the detriment of the applicants. Option A, damage, option B, disfavor, option C, advantage, and option D, background. So the word detriment means harm or damage to something, okay? So it can be damage. Damage is similar in meaning to that. Disfavor is also similar in meaning to the word detriment. The word background has nothing to do with detriment, okay? So the answer to this question is option C, advantage. Advantage is the opposite of detriment, again, which also means harm or damage. So advantage is the answer to this question. Do you have a question? Please feel free to ask your question by going down to the link in the description below. This takes you to the Myschool website where you can ask your question and a solution will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now moving on to question 55. Okay, we are looking for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. When the driver applied the brakes, they acted up. A, failed, B, responded well, C, were sluggish, and D, jammed. So the phrase acted up actually means something is malfunctioning or is not working as well as it should be. The opposite of acted up is option B, responded well. So if it is not malfunctioning, it is responding well, okay? So the answer to this question is option B. Do you have a better explanation or solution to any of these questions? If yes, please go down to the comment section below, indicate the question number and the solution you would like to share. Question 56. Again, we are looking for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The striking workers have vowed not to return to work until the decision is rescinded. Option A, changed. Option B, dismissed. Option C, implemented. And option D, incorporated. So the word rescinded actually means to revoke something or to take back a decision. So the opposite of that would be implemented. Implemented means to carry something out. So that's the opposite of rescinded. So the answer to this question is option C, implemented. Question 57. Again, we are looking for a word opposite in meaning to the underlined phrase. It is rare for a leader and his deputy to see eye to eye. Option A, disagree. Option B, respect each other. Option C, be of one mind. And option D, reproach each other. So the phrase see eye to eye is an idiomatic expression. It means to agree with one another, okay, especially in terms of your opinions. So to have a similar opinion means you are seeing eye to eye. So the opposite of that would be option A, to disagree. If you disagree, you do not see eye to eye. So our answer to this question is option A. Question 58. Again, we're looking for the word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. Common sense requires that one should be decorous at formal gatherings. A, courteous, B, impolite, C, incurious, and D, careful. So the word decorous is gotten from the word decorum, which means having good manners, etiquette, being polite. So we're looking for something opposite of that, which is option B, impolite. So the answer to this question is option B, impolite. Question 59. Again, we're looking for a word opposite in meaning to the underlined word. The diminutive figure bounces over the track with unfathomable lightness. A, invigorating, B, irresistible, C, predictable, and D, impressive. So the word unfathomable means something that is difficult to understand or to comprehend. It is beyond comprehension. So the opposite of that would be option C, predictable. Predictable means something that is anticipated, something that is easily expected. So our answer to this question is option C, predictable. Question 16. Again, we are looking for the opposite in meaning of the underlined word. I'm not interested in buying that shirt. I think it is overpriced. Option A, too expensive. B, overrated. C, priceless, and D, cheap. So the answer to this question is option A, too expensive. When something is overpriced, it's above the regular price, the normal price of that item. So it is too expensive. It is not overrated because it has nothing to do with the rate that you assign to that particular value. We are talking about the price and not the rate. So the answer to this question is option A, too expensive. I believe you're enjoying this content. If yes, please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the notification bell to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.